Welcome back. You're listening to Houston Real Estate Radio. I'm your host, Shanna Register, and every week we give you news and information you can use on your next real estate transaction. This weekend, we are out on location broadcasting from the WindeeVent broadcasting booth over at the 12th Annual Woodlands Home and Garden Show. Lots of great vendors out here, lots of things to see. There's wine, beer, lots of things going on over here. There's food to taste, things, if you want something for outside your house, inside your house, you want to do renovations, you want to figure out whether you should do renovations or not, you want to look at putting in a pool, you want to look at gadgets. There's all kinds of stuff, even jewelry. There's so much going on out here, out at the Woodlands Waterway Marriott. Come on out, check out what we got going on out here, because there's a lot of fun happening. A lot of people have come out today, and it's just really a great show. I was talking to Tony Wood a little while ago, and he was saying this is one of their best shows ever. So it's just really fantastic time to bring the family out and see what's going on and what's new to put in your home, what kind of updates and changes you want to do. So a lot of great things going on out here. And as always, if you have a real estate question, call us. We'd love to answer it on the air for you. That number is 281-882-8088. 281-882-8088. And if you missed any of today's show, go on over to HoustonRealEstateRadio.com. We do videotape all the shows, so you can go back and watch anything that you missed or want to find out more about, or if you're tuning in mid-segment here, you can go back and find out anything you need. And there are also links to our sponsors there as well. I'd like to talk this segment to Chris Childress. He's one of our realtors over at Register Real Estate Advisors, or a real estate brokerage, an independent real estate brokerage, and we help both buyers and sellers. And I want to talk to him about a free report that he is out here at the show giving to consumers. If they walk by the booth and they've got real estate questions and they want to see what their home is worth, this is a great report that our agents that are here are able to generate for consumers, so that you know what your home is worth. You want to make sure that, there's lots of calculators and online places to go to find out what your home's worth. You want to make sure you've got someone to put a set of eyes on it and make sure that the data is accurate, because remember, it is raw data and it does need to be interpreted. So I've got Chris here with me. Welcome to the show, Chris.
Hi, Shannon.
So I know you work with a lot of buyers and sellers. Lots of buyers and sellers. One more than the other?
This year it's been more sellers. I'm kind of moving that direction, but over time I've kind of worked with both of them for sure. And
a lot of people, there's so much to do in real estate. We help people, of course, rent if they need to rent, and we help them invest if they want to put some money somewhere. But as we're coming out of this kind of real estate depression that we've been in, and the market's just booming.
We've certainly come out of it.
We've come out of it, and I'm telling you, buyers are buying and sellers are selling, and It's just going crazy. We were so low on inventory, but we're getting some inventory in a little bit. It goes quick, but at least not the next day usually.
Right.
It's getting a little bit better. So I want to talk to you about this free report that you're giving consumers. If they can come by, of course, here at the booth and talk to you and get information and request the report. But they can also go online to RREA.com/value and find out the value of their home that way as well. So it'll be the same report whether they meet you here at the booth or they go online and request it. So Tell us about this report that they're going to get.
Well, the RPR report is a very comprehensive and broad report. Talks about property values, just goes into everything with regards to demographics, school information. It's just a ton of information in this report.
It's almost overwhelming. I've seen some of the reports that are up to 28 pages long.
It is. You can dial it down some, but there's just so much information there, and it is
it's interesting. If you're trying to decide, this is one of the great things that I've seen it used for. If you're trying to decide whether to do a remodel or to put a pool in, or what needs to be done to the house, should you sell or should you remodel, or should you put a pool in, or are you going to get your money back?
Right.
It's a great report to just evaluate things.
Absolutely. I was talking with a family here just a little bit ago, and they were talking about that they're actually getting ready to remodel, and we had that conversation that kind of give them an idea of what their neighboring homes are selling for, and kind of what's up and coming in the area.
Make sure they're not overbuilding, over-improving.
Absolutely, because you see a lot of folks that do that.
How else can you use the report?
Well, yeah, you can use it for a lot of different things. You can use it to contest your property values. I mean, if you actually have that information that's new and fresh. We had a family who listed their house recently, and we were going over the property taxes, and they really had no idea, but their property taxes had increased over $40,000 in the last 24 months, and that's happening because there's so much activity here.
Right.
But when we were actually going through the report and talking about comparable sales, it was assessed at a much greater value than what their neighborhood sales were. So if they would have had that information, they could have gone in and saved themselves a lot of money and contested the appraisal district's value there.
When you look up these houses and pull this report that you're sending to consumers, how specific of an area is it pulling from? Is it by neighborhood? Is it by zip code, city? How does the report pull?
Well, the report itself pulls by zip code, so it's a pretty broad, and of course, you can have a lot of different neighborhoods and a lot of different styles of neighborhoods in that specific zip code. So, we start at a very broad level, but that's kind of where we come in, is that we can help to interpret that and really narrow it down to get right down to the neighborhood, right down to the.
So would you recommend, when you're out here at the home show, people ask you to run the report, you run it for them. They usually have it by Monday morning, because it's a pretty comprehensive thing to pull.
Yeah, it takes a little bit of time to do it.
Yeah, so once you have it finished and you get it to them, you email it to them.
Yes, ma'am.
And once they have it and they go over it, then do you call them to follow up to answer questions and to go over it in detail with them?
Absolutely, because there's so much information in there, so you really want somebody that's kind of exposed to that on a regular basis, and like you said, it could be very overwhelming. So we'll call up and actually dial in and kind of give them an overview, and of course offer to meet with them to get more specific as well.
Because really, if you can go out to the property and see what they have and see the condition it's in, you're going to be much more likely to be able to tell them this is exactly what your house is worth, instead of there's this $20,000 gap and your house is somewhere in there.
Right.
Whereas if you see the property, you know what kind of condition it's in, you know what the upgrades are.
Yes.
You're more likely to give them a more pinpoint, hey, this is what you can get for the house.
Yeah, absolutely.
Anything you see negative with the report? Any drawbacks to it?
The only drawback I see is, like I said, there's just so much information there. And it is such a 30,000 foot view of what's going on. So
you really need a realtor.
Yeah, you need somebody to explain it to you and just take a few minutes to kind of dissect what they're looking at and just kind of give them an overview. But it could be intimidating.
Yeah. I like the report for buyers too, because if you're buying in a neighborhood and you get this report on the house that you're looking at buying, you're going to learn a lot about that neighborhood and a lot about that property.
Absolutely, a lot about the neighbors and kind of. The report goes as far as to even talk about voting patterns. And
that's really interesting.
Specific community, absolutely. So.
And employment, what types of employment are
absolutely
people have in the neighborhood? What are some of the other things that the report talks about?
Well, again, of course, we talked about property values. We talked about voting patterns and that type of stuff. Of course, it talks about the demographics, talks about the school ratings, what's going on with the school, and of course, when you're buying, that's one of the first things people ask about school districts.
Yep.
So it goes into detail with that. It even talks about shopping and what's available, so you can kind of get an idea of what your interests are and what's around you that'll kind of go with that. So.
Yeah. Lots of information, and if you're listening at home, you can go on your computer, you can go to RREA.com/value and get this report sent to you on your home. You just have to provide us with the property address so that we can look it up for you, and we'll provide the report to you. I do encourage you, though, to call Chris or someone else on our team and really get them to go over the report with you, because it is, like you said, it's a 35,000 view of your property or your neighborhood, so you definitely want to have it interpreted. So Chris here, he works with a lot of buyers and sellers. And have you seen people really using the report to figure out and determine, yes, it's the right time for me to sell, or no, it's not?
Absolutely. I have seen a couple of people that, just got it for information sake. And, of course, with all the activity we've got going on right now, they saw, man, there's a lot, my home is appreciated, and now might be a great time to sell. So I've seen people do that. And I've also seen people looking at how, quickly properties are appreciating and deciding to go ahead and jump and buy now versus wait until it's, out of their
Yeah, I've seen some people who decided, you know what, we don't want to put any more repairs in this house. We're not going to get it back out of it.
Yes.
So I've seen that side of it too. All right, Chris, thanks so much for coming on. If there are people at home who need to sell or buy property, how can they get in touch with you?
You can call me at the office, which is 281-288-3500. Yes. And you can also get me at chris@rrea.com.
So easy. Chris at RREA.com. It's a great agent. You've been an agent for years, and we appreciate you coming on the show and giving us some great information for consumers. If you've got a real estate question, call us 281-882-8088. We'll be right back here at the Woodlands Home and Garden Show.
I have a question for you. Just how hot is your garage in the summer? Yep, thought so. Hot. And even hotter, right? So what if I told you that there's a product that can now help keep your garage cool? Introducing WindeeVent, a revolutionary passive garage ventilation system that works off thermal airflow to allow free airflow in during hot summer months and can be closed to keep the cold out in the winter. WindeeVents are sold in pairs and install in as little as 30 minutes. Get your revolutionary WindeeVents today and say no to your hot garage. You don't have to leave your garage door up to cool your garage anymore. Vent it 24/7 with WindeeVents. To get yours now, go to WindeeVent.com. Get 10% off your order. Just enter the word Shannon as your coupon code. Don't wait. Go to WindeeVent.com. WindeeVent.com. That's 2 E's. WindeeVent.com. Installation not included. See WindeeVent.com for certified installers and for more information. Restrictions may apply. See website for details.